Hello, friends. My name's Host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People on this very special gaslighting edition of Talking with Famous People. Come here tonight, get gaslit by me for free. Um, if by the end of this stream you're not convinced there's something wrong with you, I've not done my job. You know, it's surprising how people manage to make it through their entire lives without being compelled to listen ever, you know, and actually hear and respond on point and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's, we just had a difficulty with Rachel's mom who's in town, but doesn't seem to have learned anything. Just thinks she's gonna pull her shit, you know. It's funny, I made a video on the way back from San Diego last night talking about how happy I was to facilitate, Rachel, having a chance to spend time with her mom and hopefully mending whatever hurt there was there or something. But what I sort of knew, but sort of didn't know or was trying to ignore was the fact that Rachel's mom has already demonstrated to me on multiple occasions that she's not capable of listening to me when she's wrong. She does that textbook behavior that I associate with narcissists, which is when Eric shows up, they run and hide. If they've fucked up, you know. I'm not looking for trouble, but of course, what happens when hijack? When I come back here and leave Rachel with her mom in San Diego. Well, today Rachel goes outside from the condo, smokes some weed, comes back in, and her mom doesn't like the smell of it on her. And then tells her, if you're going to stay here, you're going to have to stop that. And so Rachel calls me. I said, well, I mean, if she wants to make that the ultimatum, I guess she's making it the ultimatum. She's saying basically you have to leave, I guess. Now, the thing is, when I show up, what Rachel's mom didn't expect was for Rachel to call her bluff. You know? Rachel's mom expected Rachel to comply. She didn't like it when I showed up and saying, well, apparently, you said she has to choose to either stay here or smoke weed. And since that's insane,
I'm also like cast out of the family, pretty much. She said.
yeah, well,
She said
I mean,
if I leave tonight, that I leave everything behind.
and that's the sort of fucking awful human being she is. Because why did she say that? Because I was compelling her to address some things that she needed to address. She didn't like that, you know. The thing is, she had her chance to voice whatever her concerns were about marijuana smell when I smoked it standing right next to her and offered her some. She didn't say a fucking word to me. As soon as I leave, she starts trying to control Rachel in this really toxic way, you know, and telling Rachel that the smell of it on Rachel makes her sick, nauseous, or whatever. Which is just a bald-faced lie, you know. I mean, that's not one of the impacts of the smell of marijuana on somebody. She's not even smelling the smoke directly, right? So, she's just lying, and of course, she's not going to push me around at all. And when we're in the space together there, and I'm saying, no, that's insane, insane, insane. You're not going to lie to me. You're going to respond to what I asked you a question. Respond. Of course, what does she do? She runs and hides in her room. And then disowns Rachel rather than be accountable for anything. So, obviously, I'm frustrated. She doesn't like that she's not in control of the narrative anymore. But that's because she's a narcissistic, abuser. And it's very clear what happened from seeing her tonight. Oh, she's full blast because she did that textbook thing. When Eric arrives to hold somebody to account, and they run and hide and threaten to call security because I'm holding them to account to what they said, their words, their bullshit. Well, you got yourself a narcissist. I am Eric the Narcissist Slayer, and they run in fucking terror of me, just like Rachel's brother did.
Yep.
I explained to her mom, hey, I'm happy to bring Rachel back, but you're going to have to demonstrate that you've learned something. Have you ever even apologized to her for the 10 years of abuse?
And then,
Nanny, disappear. Now you're disowned, Rachel.
yeah.
Textbook narcissist behavior. And obviously, I feel really bad for Rachel. I feel mad. I also feel like sad for Rachel because, to some extent, I mean, this is the last thing she needs right now when she's still suffering from the serotonin syndrome. And it's, she just dropped these scissors. I watch her struggling to do basic tasks. And the last thing really she needed, I'm sure tonight or during this process, was to get the same bullshit that she got from her brother. It's like, oh, you won't back down on this pot issue. You're disowned from the family.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, Rachel's got her dad, who genuinely loves her, and it is no longer with her mother. And her sister was sort of, out of the loop the whole time, kind of. But, mom needs to learn something. What does that mean? She's going to have to sit down and be humbled and get shamed by Eric and put up with it. But because she's a narcissist, she can't. She runs in terror.
Yeah.
She's going to have to acknowledge some things, apologize, things like that, She won't do it. Instead, she'll disown her own daughter before she'll do it.
Yes.
And that's textbook narcissist behavior. Of course, the thing is, you can't let them use any leverage like that. I mean, how wicked is that? To tell your daughter, if you leave right now, you're disowned you're gone from the family forever. I mean, the appeal I would make to any of Rachel's family members who actually watch any of this is maybe reach out to Rachel and talk to her. Because I know how Rachel's mom is spending this to the family right now. She's spending it as controlling Eric, making decisions, trying to be withholding of Rachel from her or something, which is not at all fucking true.
No.
Not remotely.
What's so wrong with me having a conversation about how I was treated with marijuana? Like, you're my partner. Of course I'm going to tell you what's going on with me when I'm not with you.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. From the moment she got here, Rachel's mom seemed eager to sort of separate me from Rachel so that she could have Rachel to herself, which I interpreted in a positive way. Like, well, she wants to see her daughter. That's fine. She wants time with her daughter without me there. I totally respect that. That's fine. But what it really ended up being is she wanted to impose her controlling ways upon Rachel again, as she used to. Now she, without any other arguments left to justify her bullshit, she shifts to the smell of it makes her physically sick. What lies? What horrible lies? Meanwhile, this fucking hypocrite had no problem drinking alcohol in front of me, even though I'm a recovering alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
No problem with it whatsoever with that. Not that I didn't have any problem with it either, of course. Because I'm sane. I'm not incredibly fucked up. So, I'm very disappointed. I mean, I know we've had our conflicts in the past, and when you were wrong, you never acknowledged anything and ran away. And when I was wrong, I reached out to you and apologized and acknowledged everything. Because I'm a good person, and you're a fucking sack of shit. But I still somehow expected better. It was like,
Me too.
what? She said, what? Because Rachel called me and was like, well, my mom basically said, if I'm going to stay here, I can't smoke weed. Oh, well, I mean, you want me to come get you? And then when I get there, the mom acts like it's all a shock. Like, well, what? Couldn't we have discussed this a little bit? I mean, don't say shit like that if you don't want someone to call your bluff, retard.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the takeaway from Rachel's transition from New York to Los Angeles should have been, to anybody paying any fucking attention at all, that, oh shit, me and Anthony, and we were totally wrong. The therapists over here in New York were totally wrong about Rachel and marijuana. That had nothing to do with any problem at all. Wow, how awful we were being, and our wrongness in preventing her from getting better by fixating on something that she herself was telling us was not the problem. How horrible of us is what the natural response should have been by any decent human beings. But, you know, the thing is, she did get my foot up her ass tonight. That's for sure.
She did.
And she was like a deer in the headlights for a moment
yeah.
before she ran. Like, oh my god, I am not in control of this situation.
No.
Like, oh shit, me not in control of the situation? Yeah, you're fuck you will be in control of any situation in which you fuck up like that, you stupid cunt.
Yeah, like I was after when I went outside, like she asked me to the front by where the parking lot is, like away from the condos. I thought I was safe. And then I walk in and then the rules have changed again. And it's like, how can I function as I normally do when you won't let me do that?
Yeah. Well, shifting ground, you know?
Yeah.
Without any acknowledgement of shifting ground, trying to double bind somebody, you've set them up to expect one thing. I've gone away expecting no problems. I've even gone so far as to test it directly by smoking it right next to her at the trolley stop and offering her some. She didn't say a goddamn word. So, you know, then I leave and all of a sudden the rules change, right? Well, no, they don't. No, they don't. And you're not going to try to pitch this as Eric's coming in and taking your daughter away from you. She called me to tell me you told her she had to choose. You didn't want her to frame it as that. You didn't want me to come in and call you on it. That's for sure. But yeah, she's more. I mean, it seems to me that, you know, for a stretch there was a bit of a cognitive impact as well. I noticed like you were kind of slurring your words a little bit. It's very strokey. The whole thing's very strokey,
Yeah,
you know?
because I was, what during this whole thing?
The serotonin syndrome.
Oh, yeah, it is very, it's very strokey.
And the cognition language stuff seems to be returned pretty much. I still notice her a little bit stumbly and droppy and stuff.
Yeah.
But in fact, I notice it a little bit more, but I think that's because she's less impacted and is doing more stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I asked her in the car tonight about her progress, and textbook 8 slot SI, it's like she hadn't really checked her own body in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. I would, if you're done when you're done with whatever you're done with, let me know. I'll shift over to this chair and you can get this chair. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I'm just going to take that to the garbage.
Okay. Why don't you just take it to the garbage right here?
Okay.
And not worried about it beyond that. So, you know, it's super scary. Things like strokes are very scary. This is not actually a stroke, and Um, but obviously, serotonin poisoning has temporary stroke-like effects, and that's been difficult for Rachel. It's been difficult for me too, actually, just because.
I don't want to be a burden. What we
Right.
have is so great. Like, I don't want to. Like, with this whole thing, I just don't want to be a problem.
And that's really been her concern the whole time, which has probably taken some anguish that I otherwise would have experienced away from me. Like I didn't have to experience it, which is nice, but it's also made the whole thing confusing. It's taken me a long time to get a sense of what it is, and what's going on.
Yeah, because it's not like it's only you can only really experience it. I mean, know what I'm going through without actually experiencing it yourself.
Right.
It's internal, not really external.
Let me see.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be here. I'm glad that we're streaming.
Yeah, it feels good to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I was saying to Rachel on the way home is one of the things that narcissists, or whatever you want to call them, do and count on and utilize against you is the inability for you to say something to them. So they make sure that whatever you have to say, they won't hear it. But accordingly, they hate being talked about, and our mechanism of existence wins over their mechanism of suppression. So, I think ultimately we end up feeling more heard in total because we come on here and vent about it and get lots of people's thoughts and stuff.
Yeah.
Than we probably would even being sort of heard by her.
Yeah. Even sorta heard. Like that. That would be like a miracle. I just.
I mean, I just can't even conceive of ever saying anything like that to my daughter. Like,
Right?
if you, yeah, I mean, no.
Disowning?
I mean, I just wouldn't
Like,
even
that's
ever.
like.
It's inconceivable. It's
I'm
absolutely inconceivable.
I'm in shock. I don't think it's actually like hit me. I'm going to be going through probably a grieving process, like, cause I'm.
She may think better of it. I don't know.
Hi,
Yes.
Jack Torrance.
It's like talk about somebody who really
Hi,
needed to
Faye.
be openly disrespected and live with it for a second is your mom.
Yes.
You know?
And that's why you were there.
Yeah.
And that's why I told you, like, you're my partner. Of course, I'm going to be telling you things that my mom says to me that are not kosher.
Of course. Yeah. Well, and she's trying to keep everything in its own little walled garden so that she doesn't have to ever be held accountable for anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just TFB. The nice thing about Eric's world is that it's everybody's world. It's everybody has to play fair, including Eric.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be accountable, including Eric. Everybody, including Rachel's mom.
Yeah.
And you might complain about it because, but Eric, I didn't want to be dragged into your world. Well, the thing you're complaining about is goodness, truth, and justice. So fuck off.
Yeah. I was just telling you the truth of what was going on.
And I want to stress, it wasn't like I was like, okay, Rachel, you should leave and make a point or something. Not at all.
No.
I just asked her, well, I guess, I guess you gotta go, right?
Yeah,
if
that's
you-
what you. Okay, I remember it like very well. I told, uh, I told you about how I came in to the apartment, the condo, and I smelled of weed, and my mom said that it made her feel that nauseous. And you were like, well, what about you? Like, what? She needs to respect you too. And that's the truth. Like, okay, so I can't smoke on the porch outside. Okay, that's a request that I can definitely work with. But
you know, and obviously she didn't smoke inside either. She went outside, but of course, if you have a pipe with weed in it, it's a little smelly, you know. But whatever, it's like so is a half a cigarette butt in a pack. You can really stink like cigarettes, and it's just people need to fucking chill the fuck out. If that's genuinely a big problem, then you need to check yourself because it's not harming you at all. There's no reason anyone can complain about it. It's not being smoked inside. It's not illegal.
yeah,
It doesn't hurt Rachel. It probably helps her.
yeah.
I mean, do you feel like smoking weed has been harmful for you when you've been doing this thing, or do you think it's made you feel better? Or
It makes me feel better. Actually, it's like nice having a routine, you know? Like while I was like hanging out outside on the porch, I was like, "Oh man, it'd be so great right now if I could just hang out here and like just listen to my music and smoke some weed." But I can't live the way that I normally do because I'm not allowed to when I'm with my mom. And then she was mentioning things about like subtle things like about my weight and how I should eat better. And it's just like the old things that she used to do but came back. And I was scared about that when she booked the trip cuz I'm like, "Oh man, she's coming for a long time." Like it's a lot of time of us together, and I'm like, I'm not doing things without Eric. Like that, Eric's definitely going to be involved.
it's funny you kind of said that from the get go. Like, I definitely want you there. I definitely want you. And I just thought, oh, well, that's sweet of Rachel to be. Like, I sort of, I guess, sort of thought of it as a little bit eppy for me or something. But no, I get it. You. You knew what to expect if left alone with her for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And as a 9 and a 9FJ, you know, you end up being bullied around and resenting it unless you call me to step in and do something about
right,
it. You know?
exactly. And then you said you're like you can't you need to be respected. You're coming home. And that was it. And you were right. What? So I was gonna spend another. How could we sweep it under the rug, and go to San Diego tomorrow? Like,
Well, I mean, the thing is, that would have required her to sit down and get scolded and hang her head and acknowledge some shit.
right.
And have her comeuppance too. But she's not able to do that because she's.
Antipolar.
I mean, I think I'd say because she has. Well, for what I historically call it, and she go back to calling it this, she has accountability avoidance disorder. Do I think it correlates very, very strongly with what other people call narcissism? Yeah, but I think it's a much better word because it actually describes what the problem is.
Yes.
She's got accountability avoidance disorder. And when you can't be accountable, and you can't be honest and objective about yourself, and hear critique and grow from it, then you turn into a monster.
Yeah. Moonfei11 says, at TWFP, yes, for sure, Rachel. A grieving process and just knowing that your parent doesn't unconditionally love you the way that you deserve. Such a shame. Know that you're not alone in this. Thank you. I appreciate that. It is going to be, because I know for a fact, I knocked on her door and I heard her gossiping already about what's going on. And I was like, seriously?
Yeah, so, it's like she immediately, her first order of business, rather than caring about her daughter at all, is taking control of the narrative and trying to define what happened here for the whole family. And that's very frustrating because, of course, she's good at it, right?
Yes, she is.
She's good at it. And she's not as good as me. And that's where the deer in the headlights look came from her right there tonight. Was I don't think she ever really has gotten bulldozed before.
No.
But she did tonight, and boy did she run like a little baby.
Yes, she did.
What a little bitch.
She looked at me with like deer in headlights, like, how could you do this? Like, are you kidding me? Like, everything that Eric is saying right now, one, is true. Two, like, he has every reason to be, like, yelling at you because you're not listening to him. You're disrespecting him,
and you're not answering my question.
No,
that was the thing.
She dodged,
I asked
dodging.
You a question,
yes,
you answer it.
Yes, exactly. And then she goes, "Oh, we had such a nice night, and now you're leaving." It's like, Mom, like, things have been going on.
I mean, she probably had a nice night enjoying. Hey, got her. I mean, that's the only thing I can imagine would make it such a nice night. Obviously, you were feeling resentful.
Yeah.
And because you're an INFJ, you weren't really showing it. Because she's an ESTJ, even if you were a little bit, she wouldn't fucking care.
Yeah, and like, I got like comments about like how like I said, she mentioned she made like little jabs at like my weight and how I have to start eating healthier, and just in general, like,
I mean, you should never say that shit around me, huh?
No.
The kind of shit she says to you, she waits until I'm gone to say it.
Yes.
Because if she said it around me, I'd make her eat that fucking shit.
Yeah. She says a lot of stuff that most people wouldn't take, but I am a 9, and I don't deal with confrontation very well. I don't know how to do it. It's not really in my programming. So when she comes and she looks at me like, well, are you gonna choose him or the family? Because like she's saying like, oh,
she's not with her dad anymore.
Yeah.
And her dad and her have separate conversations and separate arrangements and stuff. So she doesn't control that.
No.
And she, Anthony's already established that he will run in terror rather than be held accountable for anything. And now Mom has. So those two people are toxic people you don't want in your life. Yeah. I would hate to think that Mom could successfully poison the rest of the family against Rachel.
Narcissistic people or account avoidance people are very they're very crafty at creating a narrative that is favorable to them.
Right. And the only possible opponent, really, that can match them 100%, 200%, 1,000,000%, is somebody like me who has no secrets, nothing to hide, there's nothing to leverage against me. I'm not bullshitting anything. Everything's out in front of everybody. And so it's like, I'm not afraid of yelling at you.
No.
It's like, you may be able to pitch your narrative to some extent, but if any of those family members feel like it, they can always watch some of my videos about the subject, because this won't be the last one we make about the subject, and
No.
at least one of them will be titled something like, a message to the Rachel's extended family, and just explain the situation,
Yeah.
because the thing is, she doesn't have any legs to stand on. She changed the rules after I left. She didn't take advantage of a very easy opportunity to talk to me about it when I smoked it right next to her and offered her some. She didn't say a word. She's claiming, which is definitely a lie, that the smell of it on Rachel, or around in general, not even any smell of smoke, but just the smell of leftover weed or whatever, makes her physically ill, which is just a bald-faced lie.
It's definitely a lie.
And then she's the one who initiated this if you're going to stay here, you can't smoke thing, which was initiated, again, after I went back to LA.
Yep.
And contrary to what she'd originally said. So it's like she's got no legs to stand on whatsoever.
No. I'm gonna get myself a drink. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Would you like anything in the fridge?
No, thanks. I think I got some coffee over here. I do want to talk about something else that's interesting, though.
Yeah.
Mention it anyway, which is that video that with a trash can, and it's like T4. Oh no, what will I do? Everybody else, and put it in that video. That short. Last I checked, like before I started this, it now has 24,000 views. 24,000. It's still going up. 24,000 in like one day. What? And guess what? It has 730 some likes. What? 730 some likes? Whose video is that? That's not my video, that's for sure. I know. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And a shit ton of subscribers too, like 21 new subscribers from just that video. I mean, those are not going to be durable subscribers. I have a theory. My explanation as to why that video is successful is because it's the language, the first part, TE polar, and then everything else is comprehensible to anybody, right? But that first thing, TE polar, is just a cognitive function talk thing that most random people are not going to understand. But they're going to get everything else, and so they're going to listen to it again to see what I say, and maybe even a third time to try to, what is he saying? What? What is that? I think that's why it's successful in part. I also think that it does have a good visual. I mean, the thing is, ideas don't work like that for me. They just don't work like that. So it's like, why did that video get made? Because when I went to the trash can, I had a trash bag full of trash, and I got to the trash can and I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And then I was like, oh shit, I just pull this thing up and put it in that way. And then I thought, oh, I should make a video about be like TE polar, be like, oh no, what did I do? Everybody else, And so then I went inside purposely to take the trash out because I didn't have any more trash to put in the trash can. So I went inside and got the kitchen trash bag, and I went and got, I put my camera, set it up, so I took a couple takes of it, I think. But yeah, I did take a couple takes because the first time, the black bag from around the trash can came undone when I pulled the lid out, and it was all falling into itself. And so that didn't look good. So I had to make the black bag go all around the edge of it so it would stay there. And then I filmed it, and I thought, well, that's a good video. I bet that'll do well. But I didn't think it was going to do that well.
Yeah, really. How nice.
And it's a lot of those shorts. Sometimes you never know what hits the shorts feed. Like the video where it's a 5-second video of a chair, and I say, now that's a stylish place to sit. Got 1,000 views.
Yep.
1,000 views for that. Why? Who knows? Who knows why?
Mysteries of YouTube.
Yeah.
Not even the internet. Like, YouTube has its own, like, mysticism to it.
Right. Well, I mean, this is something I never would have guessed or expected that, I could get so many more views than I ever had before and it turns out to be shorts are the thing that get me a lot of views. Because the thing is, last month I have over 100,000 views. And I bet if I looked at it now, it would be even bigger because of that new video that has all those views on it, So, I mean, it makes me want to do shorts, obviously.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And it's like, I could see this turning primarily into a shorts and live stream channel.
Yeah.
I still end typing sessions when if I'm not sure. I'm not sure how subs work for shorts people. I mean, it's just the thing is, this is what I need most from the channel. Is I need to be able to live stream when I want to live stream, and the video making and stuff like that. At times, has been just totally slotted to zero priority. Times I didn't, for months I did nothing but live stream or whatever. Maybe an occasional video, but the thing about making a video is I have had a couple of them like have a Pew! Like Asshole's Guide to 16 Personality Types, that did kind of an equivalent thing.
Yeah.
In terms of views, like early on, it got a lot of views, and I said, wow. But it's a lot harder to do with regular videos than with shorts, I think. Or maybe it's just I'm kind of, as a creator, optimally well designed to make a bunch of shorts, and I think I'm learning the medium and trying to get it right. It's not so hard to master as longs. It's like, what else am I really except a bunch of great ideas that unfortunately are in a big pile of mush. Well, shorts make the big pile of mush go away.
It does.
Yeah, I have done those before. I'm not super into that, but like I did a couple typing of characters from Cobra Kai in the review of Cobra Kai, but it's not specifically about that, I guess. So, I love my Rachel, and I feel
I love you, my Eric.
I feel bad, very bad, because it's like you've got this sort of trauma to deal with here, and you also don't want to burden me.
No.
And I don't want you to suffer in silence or whatever, or feel like it's a problem for me.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I want to love you well and take good care of you and stuff, and not prioritize the wrong thing.
I appreciate that.
I am a precious dandy.
He is a precious dandy.
She is a whack job. Sure, we're precious dandy and whack job according to 16 person.
Yep.
Asshole's Guide to 16 Personalities.
Yep, I'm the whack job.
And I'm the precious dandy.
It's a good combo. I really needed Eric tonight, actually. Like, him standing up to my mom and being like, no, you are lying. I needed that. It happened so fast.
Well, I didn't expect her to be unprepared for a conversation about it, and I wasn't sure how things were gonna go down. But what happened was, like, I said, well, didn't you say? And she said, don't tell me what I said or something like that. And I said, okay, well, you tell me what you said. And then she sort of like froze a little bit because I don't think she wanted to tell me what she said.
No, she didn't.
So
She was like, you called him? Why didn't you call? Why didn't we have a discussion before talking to him? We could have had a discussion before talking to him. And I was like, have we ever been able to have a discussion over marijuana? It always turns into a brawl.
I mean, and that's the other thing is, I have never gotten any indication from her that she's interested at all in talking to me about anything that except what she wants to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like in the past when I tried to have a conversation with her about Rachel, she just screamed at me and hung up the phone. You know.
Yeah.
And I screamed at her and didn't hang up the phone.
I've never been in a more healthy, happy relationship ever before. I've never been treated as well as you treat me. And the appreciation for that is not there. It's like insane in my mind because I'm like, I've been treated so poorly in the past.
She just sees me as an interference in her family control thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hand me that mouse? Thank you.
Oh.
Do you have Love Lou's, Lady Lou's, whatever her name is? Love Lou? Lady Lou? Do you have Lady Lou's phone number?
I do.
Good.
I do.
I appreciate that. You know.
Hey, Lady Lou.
Rachel's not always good at reaching out. And
I am not good
I appreciate you saying that because she definitely needs another intuitive to talk to. She's been trapped in sensordation for she was trapped there for a long time, and there's a whole lot of like anti-intuitive oppression.
Yeah.
It really is what it is.
I have a big family on my mom's side of sensors, so.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like she clearly wanted to position this as me coming down there to leverage access to Rachel or something. That's not what I was doing at all.
No.
You know,
all you want to do is love me.
I was thinking yesterday. I was like, hey, this is good. You know, they're gonna mend bridges or fences or something. I don't know what I was thinking. I made a video, but I didn't put up. But It's me musing in the car on the way back thinking, this is good. Well, I mean, she showed her true colors is what happened.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, just as we're talking about it now, she's calling all the family members to spin her version of the story where I throw the key.
Yeah.
Which I do when she wants her, give me the key, give me the key. I can toss it across the room, And then she wants to make a big deal about that. I said, well, listen, no, you're not acting like an adult, so I'm not going to treat you like one. Since you won't answer my questions, it's like, she's not going to answer basic questions, and she's not going to respond to what I'm saying at all. Then why should I help her by handing her something? It's the same sort of thing, right? I'm not going to help her with that. You can go over there and get it.
Oliver Linehan is right, too. He says they think you're gaslighting her into saying stuff like this because that's how they deal with their relationships. It's totally true. So there's this Disney movie called Tangled, and it has to do with Rapunzel. And Rapunzel is kept in a tower because her so-called mother tells her that it's not safe outside. She needs to stay with mother, stay with me. Mother loves you, mother knows best. But really, the mother, her fake mother, is using Rapunzel for her magic hair. So, because her magic hair keeps her
because it has
youthful.
So much body and sheen.
Yep.
The thing is, what's really telling is what happened at the end of the exchange. I said to Rachel, I'm like, hey, I'm not into door slams or anything, so let her know we're open to, I'll bring you back here, She just needs to actually sit down and listen to me for a second. That was what I did before we left, was try to make sure that the communication lines were still open, that no bridges had been burned or whatever. She did the exact opposite.
Oh no, the bridges are burned.
She turned it into an ultimatum. You choose him or me right now.
Oh yeah.
Forever.
Oh yeah.
And so that's a very clear-cut test. Which person is toxic and which person is decent, right? The person who wants to turn it into an ultimatum, choose him or me thing, is the toxic one. The one who says, hey, just because we're not seeing eye to eye right now doesn't mean we're enemies. Let's still, I'm still down to make this happen. You just have to have a conversation with us about this. It's honest without you lying,
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to have that conversation. She doesn't want to be held to account.
No, she never has been before, ever.
Well, she's getting held to account now. That's what Eric does.
Thank goodness. And thank you for your help. Like, I feel better because I know that I'm not alone. Like, you were there.
You're not alone. I'm here for you 100%, forevermore.
Thank you.
The thing is, somebody has to play that role of being both the one who's accountable, namely, plenty of the occasions when I have to go, okay, Jack, you're right. I used the word wrong first. Like I did in the dry stream the other night. Plenty of the occasions when I have to do that, I have to demonstrate being fair, right? In order to lay claim to fairness as a justification for my goodness. But, people who don't ever operate in that frame of reference, well, I mean, I guess I'm their worst nightmare,
Yeah.
Being raised by decent people, stories like these are always staggering to me. Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. Yeah, I got what you meant, Oliver Linehan. Having been raised by decent people, it's like, what? Hold on here.
It really is.
I'm trying to talk to you, and you're not listening to me, and you're lying to me.
Like, yes, I understand that it was a shock that you walked in and all of a sudden I'm leaving. Like, but
she's the one who said that, but she just didn't want you to interpret it for what it meant, right? Because she's like, well, you can't stay here if you're going to smoke.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Oh, I guess I'll go after the show. Rachel didn't say that
No, I
because
didn't.
she just
I
probably didn't
didn't know
say
what was.
anything
I
either
didn't
way,
know what was
right?
going to happen. I didn't know. I was thinking we were going to have a conversation. I didn't know that. I was expecting like a sit down, or I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought she was going to go batshit. Actually,
Well, she didn't really go batshit.
no.
She she ran in terror.
Yeah, she
I'm gonna gaslight you tonight, Morridge.
did.
There is something terribly wrong with you. You are too handsome.
Oh.
Oh, I gotcha. Actually, that's a backhanded insult because if I'm gaslighting you by saying that, it means it's not true. Think about it. With your brisane.
So gaslighting is like. So Morridge, I'm gonna gaslight you. You gaslighting. You don't want to be gaslit. No, that didn't happen. No, you misinterpreted that. You don't really want to be gaslit. Like, how do you like? Do you like being gaslit, Morridge?
Here's an example of gaslighting. You need to be treated for your cannabis addiction.
Yeah.
You need to be treated for your stupid addiction. Maybe that's what's more likely to be true. I think so. It doesn't give me trust issues, but it makes me go, oh, here's another one of these horrible people that I encounter occasionally.
Yeah.
The thing is that makes them such horrible people is, of course, I never get the side. It's just like what Gregory in Disguise is about, right? Yeah, pretty nice. Thanks, Jack. I guess it's all because of that video.
Yeah.
That
Hey,
one,
Jack.
that one video that got 24,000 views already. It's a lot of views.
A lot of views.
And most importantly, 734 likes. What? That's a lot of likes. I've never gotten anything close to that number of likes on anything before. Just, I have gotten that many views on something before. Like, it's taken years to get that many views on something before. But it still doesn't have that many likes. That's a high like percentage for 1 in 24. I guess not. It's about 5%. 4%. No, 5%. Yeah, it's... No, 4%. That's not bad. For so many... For that high of a number of views, that's a pretty good like percentage.
The thing that annoys me is that, like, you come out looking like the bad guy, and you're not.
To whom?
Like, to whoever my mom's talking to.
Well, I mean, it's like... I'm only the bad guy to anybody who pays zero attention to me or anything I'm saying. As long as I remain this amorphous boogeyman in the shadows, then they can think whatever they want of me. But if they actually pay any attention to me, what I'm saying, who I am, how Rachel and I are as a couple, I mean, it's weird because this is not the first time that somebody is clearly projecting onto me a controlling, domineering quality that I don't have with Rachel at all. I don't have it at all, period.
No.
I'm not controlling and domineering. I'm easily angered by outrageous shit.
Right.
And a lot of people take a long time to realize that something's outrageous before getting angry about it. Whereas I immediately go, what?
You do.
You know? No, 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 no.
Oh, yeah. There's no tolerance at all for wrongness.
Well, I mean, the thing is, people can be wrong about stuff that they believe or whatever they think, but they can't be wrong in how they treat you.
No. Yes.
That's for sure.
There wasn't any respect for what I want, for my lifestyle, for my routine. She'd be, what would happen would be like, oh, this will be nice, this will be nice, and we can do whatever we want. And then she would, like, ask me what I wanted to do, and I would want to do something different than what she wanted to do. And then we would end up doing what she wanted to do. So it was like fake asking me what I wanted to do, because she knew she would probably get her way. Anyway, yeah.
Well, I noticed you were more explicit in what you wanted to do when you were talking with me than usual, which I didn't think much about, except, oh, I guess Rachel knows what she wants to do. Because obviously you were used to dealing with your mom, who ignores what you want to do. So, why do I think you're a type 8? What does it mean to be it? What it means to be a type 8 is, for me, it's like,
I think my mom is a type 1, actually. I don't think she's in type 8.
well, I mean, I agree with you. Well, I'm not sure. I've had conversations with her on the phone in which she ate it out on me, it seemed like. But she still hung up the phone, which is more of a 1 maneuver, right? Tonight she definitely seemed more like a 1. And a 1 who suddenly realized she had a polar bear in front of her.
Yeah.
And didn't know what to do about it. She couldn't say anything. She was just not answering me, just ignoring me. And threatening to call security.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead. Call them. You tell them your daughter's not packing fast enough. And she, of course, they went that bluff, you know. But, whatever.
And then she was like, are you hearing this? Are you hearing the way that he's speaking to me? And I was just not answering, because I was like, I am not getting involved with this. Yes, of course I know, because I've gotten to, like, I know who, like, my husband is. We've been through this stuff before. I don't have to defend him. Like, I don't have to take sides.
Yeah. Well, because while she's saying that to Rachel, I'm saying to her, yeah, you need to be talked to like this because you're not behaving like an adult. You're not listening to me or answering my questions. It's like, okay, people need to answer my fucking questions.
Yeah, they really do.
It's really frustrating me when they don't, especially if they're wrong and persisting in positioning things as though I'm the problem and they're not even answering any questions. They really need to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, if you bother to engage with me at all, then be prepared to answer some fucking questions.
Exactly.
I don't think 8 types are controlling. I'm not controlling at all. I'm just, and I'm not looking for a fight, usually. It's
No.
like, I get angry when something's unjust, unfair, makes no sense, or is obviously dishonest. Like, you know, it's like, this shit her mom's pulling is obviously dishonest. There's a fundamental dishonesty to it that says, I'm going to go through these motions of motherhood and such, and playing the role of the saint and so forth, and then in reality say toxic little things when Eric's not around,
Yeah.
change the rules, try to double bind her,
Yeah.
try to, try to put her in a position where she has to either, just obey this new rule, or the only other alternative is call Eric and make him come get her, and she's never gonna do that because, well, of course she's gonna do that because we're a team. Rachel and I are a team.
Yeah, we're an
and it's like she
actual
didn't seem to
team.
get this.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like, how did you
It was
think
weird.
that? Of course, I would tell my husband what you said.
And I tried to explain this to her. I was like, we're a team, right? Like a couple. She obviously has never been a genuine teammate to a partner.
No.
Because she seemed to not get the concept. She seemed to think that I was I was using Rachel to win against her or something, when I didn't start any of this shit.
No. Not at all. You weren't involved at all until I told you about it.
I wasn't planning on going back there tonight.
No.
If she hadn't said, if you smoke, you can't stay here, then she would have stayed the night there.
And it felt a lot like when my brother kicked me out for smoking weed with a friend and coming home and smelling like it. It felt almost exactly like that. Like, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, again with this shit? Like, I thought we were over it.
It's just like a trigger. Like, here's that thing we get to beat her up about.
Yeah.
But they don't get to do that anymore.
No.
And they don't get to win the argument or the narrative long term, because the thing is, we don't live in a world of landlines. Anybody who actually cares about Rachel enough to look into the matter will see and hear the truth, and it's not a truth that is very flattering to Rachel's mother, not because of how we're framing it, not because we're trying to spin it one way or another or win an argument here. I would have loved for this trip to have gone beautifully,
Me too.
for Mom not to have pulled that shit, for Rachel to have been happy with the whole thing, for it to have genuinely, mended some fences, but you can't mend fences with a fence destroyer.
No.
And that's at the end of the day, if you're an honest person and you go, what the fuck are you doing destroying these fences? I thought we were mending here. And they go, I didn't destroy any fences. You're destroying the fence. You go, okay, motherfucker. It's you're just full of lies. Completely full of lies. From top to bottom, full of lies.
And I was really worried because I didn't know how much Eric was going to be with us. And like...
Yeah, Rachel was strangely insistent that I be there a lot more than I would have expected her to insist, I want to talk about the trash can thing a little bit.
Let's...
Is it the case? I suspect it's the case that it's more than just ISFJs and INFJs who don't think that, because my first thought was, oh, what am I gonna do? And then I was like, boy, this thing pulls out, But I bet it's not just those two types. I bet a lot of people don't. They hit that thing if they don't have TE front stack. They go, huh. What should I do? The bag's bigger than the hole.
Totally.
Yeah. It makes me happy, that video thing.
Me too.
It makes me feel warmth in my chest. I feel a physical sensation of warmth in my chest thinking about it.
That's so good.
I believe it's a feeling called happiness, maybe.
I bet he's experiencing happiness. My mom also criticized like my like cleaning habits. I was like, really, Mom? Like, after I just told you that, like, I got reamed out, or not reamed out, but I, got scolded by your dad. Like you're telling, like, it wasn't even a big deal. It was just like, whatever. It's like so lame. It's really, really, really lame. The whole thing is lame.
But it's like, how stark is the difference between toxic ESTJ and non-toxic
So
ESTJ?
different. It's so different.
Like, my dad genuinely loves me and cares
Yeah.
about me. And when he's a dick, at least it's fair.
Yes.
Your mom is playing some sort of weird, like, some kind of weird game or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel Oliver Linehan's comment right now. It's like, I mean, have you guys ever watched yourself engage with people on video? That would be informative.
So informative. I'd watch that stuff.
Yeah. It's like, this whole fucking performance thing she's got going on. That apparently it's just to set shit like this up, you know?
Yeah. Like, she's like, oh, she goes, you and Eric can choose whichever room you want. And I was like, okay. And she was like, I was like, oh, I really like the master bedroom or the one with the king size bed because it has the bath in there and it's really easy to get to. And she like, even though she like said that I got the choice of the room, like I could tell she wanted the room that we had. But whatever.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Drag, what's weird, I think, is that the proper pairing for a couple is 8 and 9. And the reason is because 8 reacts with anger to anger. 8 is a disaster. 8 responds to 1 with anger at 1's walking away. And 8 responds to 9 with always feeling like, with never feeling like they have justified to be angry, because the 9's more on top of it, on top of themselves than you are. So it's like 9's have a tendency to beat themselves up and or hold themselves very much to account.
Yeah.
So from an 8's perspective, the problem is other people not holding themselves to account. From a 9's perspective, the problem is always having to hold yourself to account. And from a 1's perspective, it's like never really having to hold yourself to account.
Or it's everyone else's problem.
Well, the thing is, I don't know. It's complicated. I want to read some of the things here. So, I still can't believe you undervalue the utter importance of music or score in a film. I can't believe it, Marge. I can't believe it either. the thing is, like, I basically almost never get angry at Rachel.
No.
She gets angry at me about the same often-ness as I get angry at
Yeah.
her, which is
Very
very
little.
rarely.
It really does happen often.
And when I do, I very, very rarely voice it in words.
Yes.
I just
I know it with
I
the.
sigh and I'm silent,
Yeah. Yep.
because it's like it's about something that is a mistake, but it's a mistake that I cared about. It's like
Yeah.
certain mistakes. If I
'Cause
care
you
about
don't.
it, then it's like you fucked up something. Now I'm
I
pissed
know.
because you fucked. Yeah.
Oh,
But if
killer tofu.
if it's not something I care about, like oh I spilled this thing all over whatever, I'm like oh
No.
look at you go.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I'm not a lead 8 as well. Obviously a 7 before I'm anything
Yeah.
else. And that's the other thing is, to get me to 8, you've had to fuck with my playing a lot, right? So, for example, tonight, I was here. I wasn't planning on going down to San Diego. And then Rachel's mom fucked with my plane, but I still wasn't even mad by the time I got down there. In fact, I went in, I lay in the bed for a while. Then I couldn't go to sleep. Then I got up. I went to the bathroom. I pooped a little bit. I kind of had to push it because wasn't really ready to come out. But I thought, well, I got nothing else to do, so I might as well poop. And then I went outside because it was cold in there. And then I finally went back inside and messed with the temperature until I got it on heater and the temperature I wanted. And then I hung out in there a little while longer, and eventually they came home. I watched a little bit of TV, a little bit of South Park, but then I was bored with that. I was thinking about this whole thing and how that was going to go down too, so I couldn't really think about it. I couldn't really pay attention to it very much. But then it didn't really go down at all. Like, I don't know what I expected. I just thought, because the thing is, what happened is this. It's like, she comes in and I start my fact-finding mission. Okay, so you said this, right? But she's immediately obstructing justice. And no. That's a way to piss Eric off. You do not try to obstruct justice. You answer my questions. But it's heavy on the heart and soul because, of course, it's like, I mean, I think what Rachel sees it as is bigger than just her mom. It's sort of, lies to be told to the family for the purpose of trying to ostracize Rachel from the family because I'm too dangerous, basically.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm dangerous to her domination of the narrative. I'm dangerous to her control over people. And it's best to excise this couple than to run the risk of her little miniature empire of stupidity tumbling, Well, it's already tumbled. The thing is, Rachel was the kingpin of her toxic little torture chamber thing she had going on. And without Rachel, in fact, they got divorced. She moved to South Carolina. Without Rachel there to execute her schemata on, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, nothing really.
So what's probably gonna happen is that we won't be invited to family things. But I don't care because I don't like family things anyway. They're very boring. They're very gossipy. They're very statistical because they talk a lot of football. So there's a lot of talk about statistics, which is so boring. And No, it's not always boring. Actually, I don't mind football. So, but still, it's a lot. Um, there's drunkenness, a lot of drunkenness, and like talking about their daily lives.
Thing is, of course, I am a 7. I do like to play, but you can't play very well in families that are really. There's a lot of judging going on, and or not healthy shit going on, like
Yeah.
little ehs or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't do eh. I do the fuck, motherfucker, or nothing. You
That
know?
is, lend a hand. That is a blessing to have. So like, I got a lot of crap for moving to California, and I was like, "Hello, we have family who moved to Tennessee." Like,
Do you really think I have a 2 in my tri type? Peter didn't teach you? I don't think so. Do you think I have a 2 in my tri type?
I don't know.
Or a 4? What would a 4 look like? How would a 4 be different, Peter?
4 is Frank James. Frank James is the good example of 4.
I said
the 6.
in, Peter. No, that's the conclusion one would draw from the fact that you're saying my highest heart center, quote unquote, is 2. So that would mean, and a correct understanding of Enneagram, as per Eric, that it is 3rd in my tri type.
T asked if I still feel, despite like not really caring, if I feel disheartened. I do, because I think that's a really bold thing to do, to
Excise.
excise someone from the family.
Yeah, it's hardcore. It's insane. It's like all to avoid her own being held accountable for anything.
Yeah. And what was the worst that was happening? I was leaving with you, like.
Well, the worst that was happening is that I was trying to figure out what exactly her position was, and she was trying to avoid involving me in the conversation, and
Totally.
trying to say somehow like we're not a team. It's like, hold on a second, this is my woman.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? What do you? No, you don't need to talk to her separately or whatever.
No.
Why? Because you think I'm the problem here? That's what we need to discuss, is how you're the problem here, lady.
Oliver, what is your tri-type? Do you have a number 9? Number 9?
Well, what do you think highest scoring means? Peter to teach you. If I got the most number 2s out of 2, 3, 4, then what would you call that if not the one from that section? I don't know what a 6 wing 5 is. I don't do wings. I think wings are bullshit.
But wouldn't wings lead you to the tri-type that you are?
No, I think you just do tri-type, one section at a time, and then there are no wings because there's no need for them. They don't explain anything that needs to be explained, and why are they there? No, wings is not simpler. Wings is dumber.
I like the tri-types.
Okay, Peter, that's nonsense. That's not how an Enneagram works.
I left my my astro die. I'm sorry, Winston's mom. That was a great gift. I really appreciated it. I'm sorry.
I'm sure your mom will gleefully throw them in the trash.
Yeah.
Or no, she'll snarkily send them to you in the mail. That's what she'll do. Just to make sure we have nothing left to connect us. I want to make sure to get rid of these and get them back to you. The thing about Enneagram is what it really tells you, and this is the important thing to remember. It tells you how you engage fundamentally from a tactical perspective with anger, shame, and fear. And that's all it tells you. Now, people make a lot of nonsense additionally on top of that, but people do have basically one strategy towards anger, shame, and fear that predominates when they encounter those negative emotions. And so Enneagram's a good taxonomy in that regard, but beyond those three basic numbers that represent each of your triads there, everything beyond that is just make-believe stuff that people have tossed on top of it for fun.
I believe I am a 749. But not. I don't think that. Or I don't know the order of my tri-type. That's still up for debate.
Peter, how do you think 4 differs from 2? Well, again, Peter didn't teach you. In this case, you simply lose on framework because my point is Enneagram's not like that kind of thing. It's not like cognitive functions. It's just taxonomical. It's not mechanical. So why don't you describe to me the difference between 4 and 2? And the reason it's not mechanical, of course, is because emotions don't have exclusivity like other things do. So that's why it can't be mechanical. Remember, emotions are like rocks that are puddles of mush.
Like puddles of mush.
Yeah. Remember, emotions are like rocks that are puddles of mush is a good sentence. It really says a lot by saying nothing. Puddle of mush. Do you feel heavy-hearted?
Yes.
I do too. I think we should run a pen.
What does it mean?
It rhymes with something that you take every night.
Klonopin, yeah. Now?
Yeah. And can you hook a proverbial brother up? I'm feeling heavy-hearted too. And the thing is, of course, it's like what makes me also heavy-hearted is knowing that Rachel wants to be a good teammate, and she also take half of this. She doesn't.
I don't.
Oh yeah, I do.
You know what? I'm just gonna take the whole thing, okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna take a whole one too. It's a good idea.
So anyway, there's a lot of sighing going on right now. We're playing Mystery Science
Yeah.
Theater 3000. Did you get my pun? I made a pun using the word science, replaced it with sighing.
Oh.
It was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Everybody laughed and laughed. It's weird having a 2 on the chart type and being FE polar. I like wanting to help people and be useful, but also always offending them accidentally during the process or just plain awkward. Well, I will agree with you on this point, Drag. That addition of or just plain awkward at the end of that larger sentence made the whole sentence just plain awkward. You didn't need that. It doesn't make any sense there. It's misplaced entirely. I mean, even Far From Home had to go back and grab at the Raimi trilogy again. Lazy writing, in my opinion. Nostalgia factors. The poster is basically Doc Ock and Green Goblin in it. I agree they are superior to the others, Jack, but it's been a while since I've seen them. I've been getting the catalogs of directors I like, so I'll have to add Raimi. Do you think that Raimi smells gamey? I do. It's okay, Drag. You're forgiven. We all make English mistakes occasionally. Yes, even English teachers like me. Why, just the other day, I said, me go store tomorrow. To be clear, Moonfae, I don't know that this is true. Just something Spacey and I talked about ages ago now. Does he have to read our comments like that? I say. I've tilted my head to the side, my eyes are squinting and wires are shooting out from the corners of them. I say. That's exactly how Karma's Pimp sounds. Here's Alec T. That's how the comments sound, Karma's Pimp. Lol. That's how Alec T sounds. And here's how Peter DG sounds. 2 or 3 is scored to 15 points, and 4 or 6 or 8 is scored to 16 points with a rage of making the try type convoluted. That's how Peter DG sounds.
How is it convoluted though?
It means you had a kind of an even spread of in your scorings.
Sounds about right.
You weren't super highly concentrated like me. I'm highly distilled 7. If 7 were alcohol, I'd be Everclear.
Yes, you are, for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's how much 7 I got in me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is there a chance I don't know if this is true or not, but they say with the arrows that could it be that I'm tied with 7 because as I've matured, I've understood 5 more with the arrow? I don't know. That's getting like deep into Enneagram, and I don't know if that's I don't know if I believe in it.
I'm not sure what to make of that integration disintegration thing either, but I would say that for somebody who plays the day away and sort of let's just ignore that. Somebody who's like that a lot. When I'm integrating, I don't think I'm being more thoughtful about it. I think I'm less thoughtful about it and doing shit.
Hmm.
And I don't think I'm going to my existing resources or anything like that either. I think I'm just doing the thing that needs to be done, you know? So I don't know what to make of that.
What about two for me, Peter Dentici? Was that like last? Was so two was second to last?
2 and 3 scored 15 points. 4, 6, and 8 scored
Oh.
16 points with Rachel.
Oh.
7 and 5 tied first at 22. And 9 at 19 with 1.
One last. That's funny.
And 1 at 12. Last. Huh. Okay. That's interesting.
That is interesting. You know what's also interesting is that the gaslight district, gas lamp districts do not have gas lamps anymore. They don't
No,
use
they don't.
the gas lamps.
Instead, they have professional gaslighters who stand on the street corner and gaslight people as they're walking by to make sure that everybody feels like shit all day. It's a special bonus that San Diego offers. They make the gas lamp experience more authentic. Oh. Do you hear the sigh I feel? He may have meant for it to be funny, but he obviously failed to do that. As you know, many people find that scene cringe and out of place. I appreciate it now, but it's only because it means. I don't know what you talking about, but that's okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he like did the thing, Jack Torrance. That's funny.
Spider-Man 3. Is that the one where Spider-Man turns into Cockroach Man? That would be interesting if he switched insects each time. I mean, I know spiders aren't insects, they're arachnids.
Oh, true.
I guess he could switch arachnids. He could be a lobster. Lobster Man, Spider-Man, Crab Man.
Spider-Man definitely is the coolest out of those three. Right?
I mean, yeah, but that just makes, it's like, why make Spider-Man 3 when Spider-Man 2 could have been Locust Man? He could just change his insect every time. He could be Potato Bug Man. The man that scares everybody by being so gross.
No, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, nobody wants to see Potato Bug Man. Nobody wants the Potato Bug superpowers. There's nothing good about those. Yes, a score that's high in your line of what would be the direction the disintegration means development of the type. A high 7 would be for if you were a 5, but for a type 7. What? What? I have done it before. You don't want to see me looking what I look like without it. It's not a pretty sight.
I'm sure
I want to cover as much of this face up as possible.
I'm sure you are as handsome as the day is long.
Thanks, darling.
You're
I appreciate it.
Of course. It's the truth.
Um, well, but we're just Spider 3. Instead of Spider-Man, it was just a giant spider. Then the love story wouldn't have worked as well.
Spider 3.
It was the first Spider-Man as well. Instead of having the story of Peter Parker being bit by a spider, if it were just a spider, a giant spider though, even if it were trying to save the day, people wouldn't really appreciate it if a giant spider came in and plucked you from a bus running you over. You wouldn't feel safer. You'd be like, ah,
Yeah.
a giant spider has me. And then he'd put you down and say, you okay, sir? And you'd still say, ah, a giant spider's talking to me. You know? It's like you can't get a break if you're a giant spider. That's one of the big problems that I've had. You gotta find it. I don't know. It's back like, it's around Halloween. Not last Halloween, not the Halloween before that. Maybe the Halloween before that or the Halloween before that. It was around that period of time. Are you ready to call it a stream, darling?
Yeah.
Ready to go inside? I think I am too.
Yeah.
There's a sorrowful sadness
Mm.
in our hearts. But
Like, how can you not love me for me? Like, I'm just a person. Like, how can you not love me for me? Like, really, like, your own daughter. Like, I am the best, and I'm the best daughter for Emily Lapalosa, and she knows it. But, there's obviously things that are within my mom that has to be dealt with and may not ever be dealt with. I don't fully understand it. I just don't. I never did. I always, when I was like younger, I was like, if I have a kid, I am gonna give a shower like love.
yeah, she seemed awfully quick to pull the trigger on this whole you stay here and Eric go back by himself or never see me again thing. It's like that wasn't us originating any of those notions.
You're right.
Like I said, before we even that had even come up, I think, as far as I knew, I was saying to Rachel, hey, I'm not a believer in door slams, so we should make sure she knows that channels of communication are open. I can bring you back. It's just got to talk to me. But she seemed like she was ready for an excuse to
Yeah.
basically deal with a threat, which is me. Not that I'm an actual threat to anything good. I'm a threat only to her wicked ways,
Yeah.
But well, they live longer than other types. Drag for one thing. Take good care of themselves in general.
I wanna like pretend like it never happened.
We're gonna have to talk to your dad about it.
Yeah, we do.
You should talk to him about it tomorrow, and we'll talk about it with him. And he loves you at least, and he would never throw you away like that, or seem so eager to construct like obey or excommunicate thing is like, where did this come from? You know,
Yeah.
it's it's appalling. I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. I can't imagine somebody being that terrified of accountability, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk to your dad tomorrow, and we'll feel better after we talk to him, I think, and maybe talk to your sister, because I think what your mom doesn't realize is that this. Well, the problem is because she was so quick to pull the trigger on this ultimatum, obey or excommunicate thing, and because we were pushing the opposite narrative, namely, hey, the lines of communication are still open. I know we've had a tiff here, but I can bring her back. Um, that's going to be tough for her to win that narrative battle. You know, it's like the bottom line is with all the facts, all the realities are square on this side of the affirmation. It's like she did have an opportunity to say something when I was there, said nothing. She did establish what the rules were. Rachel did follow them. She did change the rules, and she did issue the ultimatum that if Rachel was going to smoke, she couldn't stay there. So, what does she think's going to happen? I'll go pick her up then, I guess. You know? And,
No, yeah. I mean, and you also, in your voice, like you were saying, like, she's not respecting you. There's no respect there, so why should you stay? And it's so true. Like, I was listening to, like, YouTube about controlling people, like, right after she had the conversation with me about being nauseous from the smell of marijuana, because I was like, she's pulling this shit again. Like, I thought we were over this. Like, I was.
I mean, I guarantee you. Oh, I don't know this for sure, but I will ask Rachel. Maybe this is not correct, but she probably used other justifications for her anti-marijuana stance before she lost to them. Was her old justification for her anti-marijuana position that it made her nauseous?
No.
Was it something else? Was it like it's illegal or
It's
not
illegal.
good for you because your mental health situation?
That too, yes.
Or it's bringing you out your treatment or whatever. So the thing is, she was lying when she said it made her nauseous. You know, she was lying. And I called her on it. She didn't like that.
No, she didn't.
So the thing is, I'm not up against a tough narrative. Because she's the one who issued the ultimatums, not us.
Yeah.
She's the one who pulled the trigger for no reason as we were trying to keep communication open. Her only justification is that I was disrespectful to her, but she was pissing me off by pulling this shit and thinking she could get away with it. She didn't deserve any respect because she hadn't earned any because she was pulling this shit and thinking she could get away with it.
And then she kept on trying to pull me into the conversation, like, look at what he's doing. Look at how he's being. How dare you let him treat you like your mother like this? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yeah.
What you should have said is, does he treat you like this to Rachel? And Rachel would answer what?
No.
Because I don't treat anybody like that. Except somebody who's being a total scumbag.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Bobby-san. He says it's nice to see you both showing what a strong team you are, being there to support each other. Yes. It really is.
I wish they all could be very Spider-Man.
I love that. I wish they all could be very Spider-Man.
Well, East Coast bugs are cool, I guess. Cicadas always meow. And the southern bugs, with the way they chirp, they make me go blah 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 blah. But I wish they all could be spider bugs.
Wish they all could be Spider-Man.
Well, she's not all the way back yet, but she does seem to be on the mend.
Yeah.
Seems to be attempting more things, and she seems to be more cognitively herself, a little bit less like drunk seeming, you know. Seemed a little serotonin drunk for a while. How old do I think you are, Jack? 96.
Ooh, I think that's it right there.
96. No, I'm gonna go 116 so that you could fight at the end of World War One. Jack, you're one of the last remaining World War One veterans.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you. Yes. You always have to say thank you for your service.
Well, not a lot of Americans went to serve in World War One, so he's pretty special for having done so.
Oh.
He served in the British Air Force, the French Navy, and the German Army, ironically, fighting for both the Allies and the Axis powers in World War One.
Wow.
Then he switched to quote unquote fight for Switzerland, which mostly involves a lot of standing around.
Wow.
This is the story of Jack Torrance. Well, I guess it's about time to go. Venting. Engaging more in the narrative of negative feelings of said situation that initially upset you prolongs the presence of said negative feelings. Venting to the vent. Well, the thing is, Peter, Nancy, that's a very FI frame of reference. I'm actually not venting. I'm knowing. I'm knowing by repeating the core elements of the narrative so that they get locked in place argumentationally. So it's like, I wanted to repeat that last chunk of like 5 things. She's the one who's the because it's a good package, right, argumentationally. And in fact, when I do talk things out, it does make my feelings go away. And I don't feel them
That's
anymore
good.
because I feel like I've had justice. Remember, I operate with this mystical flow that always goes on, which says that there's an ongoing record of all the arguments. Once I've gotten all my arguments out and I feel like I've been heard, then for me, that helps my feelings go away. It doesn't intensify them. Because the reason I'm having the feelings is because it's not because I'm mad at Rachel's mom or something. It's not because I feel bad for Rachel, although both those things are probably true. It's because, lies ran away from my bright light. And that makes me angry. I don't like that. That's what, that's the one thing liars have to do, is stand there and get my bright light shined on them. That's what they have to do. If they don't do that, then they are evil and bad. That's all there is to it. And I'm subject to everybody else's bright light too, I'm not. Well, I mean, I'm gonna. That's SI knowing, Peter and TG. That's SI knowing for me. So Rachel's drifting back to it because she's still in her FI, and she comes back to it because it's central to her feelings. Again, for her, her feelings are both countervalued and backstacked. So she has a different relationship with them than you do. But more importantly, or more significantly in regards to this, for me, I'm SIing it. I need to restate the narrative a few times so I can get it into my knowledge base. And the more comfortable I get with it in my knowledge base, the less it has an FI impact because then it fits in with my map, right? It's a story well told and well understood. So it's not a sore thumb on my map, it doesn't cause me distress. For Rachel, it's a much more experiential reality because, of course, the meaning, the NI takeaway of what happened is that Rachel's mom was awfully quick to throw her away. And that's a pretty fucking harsh reality to face. And of course, being an NI dom means you don't get to know things in ambiguous ways. You have to know that awful truth. Well, I mean, it's got to be concretized because it's like Rachel's gonna probably have to go through some sort of grieving process unless her mom has a change of heart and calls and decides to man up. But I don't see that happening. I mean, she's avoided my my gaze of correction on multiple occasions now. So much so that I don't think she's capable. I think she has accountability avoidance disorder. So that means, unfortunately, the thing is, it doesn't say anything about Rachel. Rachel's a wonderful human being. What it says is that Emmy can't accept Rachel as a legitimate full human being. She can only accept Rachel as a pawn in her larger scheme of things, and that's how it is right now, unfortunately. So it's like, I wish that I'm hopeful for reconciliation. This is new. This is fresh.
Yeah, it's just happened.
But the thing is, it's like, you know, there was that push to sever, which was in direct resistance to the counter push from us.
Yeah.
That's not sever. You do need to be held to account at some point, but let's keep the channels of communication open. And there was an active rejection of that possibility, of any kind of any way in which she loses the battle and doesn't sever all relations. In other words, it doesn't go nuclear. She was basically saying, if I lose the battle, I go nuclear.
Oh yeah.
And well, you can't even be in the battle unless you talk to me. So I don't know what to tell you. It's like, if you don't want to eat a plate of shit, then stop trying to serve it to everybody else.
I know.
It's that simple. If you try to serve it to me or my loved ones, you will eat it.
Yeah. And of course I was going to tell you that you said something like that. Like,
And I can't believe she would even object to that.
she was like so angry that I like spoiled the night.
I mean, the point is, if she doesn't want something she says to be heard by other people, maybe there's something wrong with what she's saying. But, it's like, AAS, people who suffer from AAS, accountability avoidance syndrome, they can suck my dick. That's about all I have to say about that.
You know what I actually like hope happens right now?
What?
There's supposed to be some like really bad snow coming to the East Coast, and I hope that she flies out early and leaves. Like,
Yeah. That's funny. You're so much nicer than me. I was thinking, oh, I hope she gets stranded out here.
that is so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, Oliver, you're absolutely correct. You didn't spoil the night. What she did was, she spoiled your night first by changing the rules and making you quietly resentful. And then when she got her just desserts, she tried to blame you.
Yeah, she did. She was like, we could have had a perfectly reasonable conversation about this. Why are you leaving? Like, why do you think that I'm leaving? You don't accept me for who I am and make me, like, go through hoops. Like, if I have a chance to leave with someone who loves me, like, I'm taking that.
Yeah, and she probably sees me as somebody just like her, except I won this battle or something. But that's just not the case at all. You know,
Yeah.
I was genuinely and I ignoringly hopeful that there was going to be some sort of fence mending. That maybe
Yeah.
maybe
I did
Rachel's
too.
mom's behavior was linked to the fact that Rachel genuinely wasn't well, and so it had to be hard on everybody or something. But
Yeah.
no, it was as bad as Rachel always intimated without really directly telling me. And Rachel on a couple occasions said, "You gotta watch out for her. She's tricky." And the thing is, uh, she's not. That's the thing. She's not tricky at all. If I'm there, if I'm there, she's not tricky.
No.
Right? All of a sudden, I go away. She tries to be tricky. I'm still there. We both have phones.
Yeah, like, hello. Like, I'm so serious. Like, we're so serious. Like,
She doesn't get that we're a couple.
No.
In a real sense of the word. She thinks we're
Yeah.
some sort of. Well, she thinks I'm her, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I'm the good guy version of you.
Aw.
Yeah. I'm the good guy alternative to you.
Yeah.
Alright, well, that's going to wrap it up. I think it's time for bed.
Okay.
I think it'll be nice if we go lie down together, too.
I
It'll
do
be
too.
emotionally bonding time or something like
Yeah, emotionally bonding time.
mutual emotional paddings. Reciprocal emotional paddings. That's what we should have.
Yeah. Reciprocal emotional padding.
Friends at home, even if it's just with yourself, I want you to go ahead and indulge tonight in your own reciprocal emotional paddings. Remember, the best kind of emotional paddings are reciprocal, even if they're auto-reciprocal.